Hello there. I'm Dr. William Carter, 60 years old, and I've spent more than 3 decades working with patients over 50 here in the United States. You know, after more than 30 years as a doctor, I've heard just about every kind of advice imaginable. Eat this to stay healthy. Eat that to live longer. But among all those recommendations, very few are truly right for people in their 60s or 70s. And then, one major scientific study made me stop and really think. Out of 3,205 different foods analyzed by researchers for their ability to build and maintain muscle, only 10 stood out. Just 10. And what surprised me most, and will probably surprise you too, was that eggs didn't make the list. That's right. The so-called perfect protein, the food that shows up on nearly every breakfast table, is actually no longer ideal for the body after age 60. I know that's hard to believe. I used to believe otherwise too, until science showed us that the protein in eggs is simply not absorbed as efficiently by older adults anymore. Our bodies change. Our digestive enzymes slow down. Our ability to synthesize new muscle decreases. And worse yet, the cholesterol in eggs can start to build up in our circulation, affecting heart health and blood pressure, two things we can't afford to ignore at this stage of life. But here's what really got me thinking. If there are simple, affordable, everyday foods that can actually help seniors build muscle faster than eggs, why don't we hear about them more often? Well, the answer isn't very comfortable because, truthfully, the medical and food industries don't profit from healthy people. An older adult who grows weaker needs medication, mobility aids, and long-term treatment. But someone who's strong, independent, and full of energy, they don't bring in much profit at all. And that's exactly why I want to talk to you today. About 10 forgotten foods. Simple, inexpensive, powerful foods that can do what eggs can no longer do. Help you rebuild your strength, restore your muscle, and feel younger with every passing day. I'm Dr. William Carter, and this is Over 60 Health Tips, where we don't talk about age, we talk about inner strength. Because every meal isn't just about surviving, it's about living stronger, steadier, and happier, no matter how many candles are on your birthday cake. When I say that eggs are no longer the king of protein for older adults, most people laugh. Some even look at me with disbelief and say, "Come on, doctor, I've eaten eggs my whole life and I'm still healthy." And I understand, because I used to think the same way, until I saw, with my own eyes, what both science and real life have proven. The human body, even at 70 or 80 years old, can still rebuild muscle, if you give it the right kind of fuel. That, to me, is one of the most extraordinary things I've ever witnessed in medicine. Age itself is not the enemy of strength. What weakens us are our habits, eating the wrong foods, believing the wrong things, and eventually, giving up on ourselves. But when you change, even just a small part of how you eat, your body responds, powerfully, gratefully, and beautifully. I remember Mrs. Helen, 72 years old, the woman I mentioned earlier. When she changed her evening snack from white bread and eggs to just half a cup of cottage cheese, something remarkable happened. She didn't just sleep better. Her legs stopped feeling stiff every morning. What moved me most wasn't the medical result. It was the look in her eyes when she said, "Doctor, I always thought getting old meant getting weaker, but somehow I think I'm getting stronger." I want you to remember this. Your body has never betrayed you. It simply reflects how you've been caring for it each day. A recent study analyzing over 3,205 different foods found that only 10 simple, affordable foods can help build muscle faster than eggs. Even in people well into their 70s and 80s, no medication, no gym membership, just the right food in the right amount at the right time, and your body will respond. I once told a 78-year-old man named Walter, "You're not getting weaker because of your age. You're getting weaker because your body is starving for protein, and you don't even realize it." So Walter made one small change. He replaced his greasy fried meat with grilled tofu just twice a week. 4 weeks later, he came back to my office with a smile that made him look 10 years younger. "Doctor," he said, "I can walk farther now without stopping. It feels like my legs have finally woken up." That wasn't a miracle. That was his body coming back to life, simply because he finally started feeding it the right way. You see, muscle loss isn't destiny. Your body can still rebuild new muscle fibers, even at 80 years old, if you give it enough easily absorbed protein, essential minerals, and a steady source of energy. This isn't wishful thinking. It's been proven in dozens of studies. But strangely, the food industry almost never talks about it. They'll tell you that you need supplements, you need powders, you need expensive products. But I'm here to tell you something very different. Strength doesn't come in a pill. It comes from your own kitchen, from a bowl of fresh cottage cheese, a slice of tofu, a plate of chickpeas, or even a handful of golden millet you may have once overlooked. I once had an 80-year-old patient named Leonard. He walked slowly, often losing his balance. I told him to try replacing his white rice with millet porridge or teff grain a few times a week. Just 1 month later, he said to me, "Doctor, my hands don't shake when I stand up anymore. My legs feel steadier." And I've seen the same transformation in hundreds of others, from grandmothers who once struggled to stand to elderly men who thought their strong days were long gone. They all learned one simple truth. It's never too late to rebuild your strength. Have you ever felt your legs tremble a bit when standing up from a chair? Or maybe when stepping down the stairs, you felt that uneasy loss of balance and reached for the railing? Or sometimes, even small tasks make you feel tired faster than they used to? If so, know this: you're not alone. Millions of people over 60 feel exactly the same. But the difference is, some of them have chosen to change, and that's what I want you to do, starting today. Begin with the simplest step. Choose better foods. Don't worry, I'm not talking about anything expensive. Just 10 simple, affordable foods that science has proven can build muscle faster than eggs. I'll be sharing all of this in the next part of the video. But before we dive into each food in detail, I want to hear from you. Tell me, how old are you, and what's been the hardest thing for you lately? Is it weak legs, low energy, or maybe it just takes longer to recover after a light day's work? Write your answer in the comments below. My team and I at Over 60 Health Tips read every single comment. Not because it's some engagement strategy, but because I genuinely want to hear your story. Because sometimes, one person's story can change another person's life. A 70-year-old might read your comment and realize, if they could do it, maybe I can too. And that's the reason I created this channel. When you leave a comment, you're not just talking to me, you're sharing hope. And I promise you, we reply to everyone. Together, we're building a circle of strength, where age is not a limitation, but a testament to resilience. I know, there are days you feel tired. Days when your body doesn't cooperate, when it feels like your strength is slipping away. But listen closely. Your body is still fighting for you every day, every hour, every cell. So give it the support it deserves. Feed it right. And keep believing, because you can still be strong. Next, I'm going to share with you 10 simple, affordable foods that can help you build muscle faster than eggs, even at 80 years old. I'm not here to give you dry, complicated theory. I'm going to show you how to eat, when to eat, and most importantly, why your body will thank you afterward. Because you deserve to be strong, steady, and to truly enjoy your golden years with powerful legs and a calm, healthy heart. Remember this: age doesn't define you. The way you live does. You see, muscle loss isn't fate. Your body can still rebuild new muscle fibers, even at 80, if you give it the right kind of protein, minerals, and steady energy. Dozens of studies have proven this. Yet strangely, the food industry rarely talks about it. They'll tell you to buy supplements, drink powders, and spend money on expensive products. But I'm here to tell you the truth. Strength doesn't come from a pill. It comes from your kitchen. It's in a bowl of fresh cottage cheese, in a slice of tofu, in a plate of chickpeas, and in that handful of golden millet you might have once ignored. You remember what I said earlier, right? Out of more than 3,205 foods analyzed by scientists, only 10 truly stood out for their ability to build and restore muscle in older adults. 10 foods, simple, affordable, easy to find, that can completely change how your body works. And I know what you're thinking. So, what are they, doctor? Well, let's start with number 10, A food so ordinary that most people overlook it every single day, but it just might be the key to restoring your muscle strength while you sleep. 10. Cottage cheese, the sleep protein. If there's one food that's simple, affordable, and so effective it's almost underestimated, it's cottage cheese, fresh, creamy, and quietly powerful. It's not fancy, it's not expensive, but it nourishes your muscles all through the night, right when most of your muscle repair actually happens. Did you know this? Over 80% of muscle rebuilding and regeneration in adults takes place while we sleep. And the protein in cottage cheese, called casein protein, is absorbed slowly, releasing amino acids steadily over several hours. That means your muscles get a gentle, continuous flow of nourishment all night long. I once had a patient named Helen, 72 years old. I mentioned her briefly earlier. Every morning, she woke up with heavy legs, stiff knees, and the feeling that her body just didn't want to move anymore. I suggested one small change. Before bed, have half a cup of cottage cheese. No sugar, no seasoning, just plain. 3 weeks later, she came back smiling. "Doctor, my legs don't hurt in the mornings anymore. I thought it was just a coincidence, but it's really working." What Helen experienced is the difference between eating to fill your stomach and eating to repair your body. Like many people in their 70s, her body wasn't digesting protein as efficiently as before. But cottage cheese, with its slow-digesting casein, gave her muscles the time they needed to absorb every bit of nutrition. A study published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that older adults who consumed casein protein before sleep showed significantly higher rates of muscle protein synthesis compared to those who didn't. In other words, a single bowl of cottage cheese can do what a fried egg breakfast simply can't. And there's more. Cottage cheese is rich in calcium and phosphorus, which helps strengthen bones and reduce the risk of falls and fractures, something nearly every person over 60 worries about. I often tell my patients, if there's one food that helps you sleep better and wake up stronger, it's cottage cheese. 9. Tofu. Gentle strength from soy. Now let's move on to food number 9. Tofu, or as most people call it, soybean curd. I know what you might be thinking. Tofu? Oh, come on, doctor, that stuff's so bland. But let me tell you something. Tofu is one of the most complete plant-based proteins on Earth. It contains all 9 essential amino acids, something very few vegetarian foods can claim. After the age of C, we don't just lose muscle because of a lack of protein. We also lose it because of hormonal imbalance. Both men and women experience a natural drop in hormones like estrogen and testosterone, which weakens both muscle and bone over time. Tofu, however, contains a natural compound called isoflavones, which gently helps restore that balance. It's not a drug, it doesn't cause side effects. It simply reminds your body how to find its equilibrium again. I remember one of my patients, Walter, 76 years old, a man who loved his fried meats and bacon. When I suggested he swap out his meat for grilled tofu twice a week, he laughed, "Tofu, doctor? I'm not a vegetarian." But 3 weeks later, he came back and said with a grin, "You know that boring tofu? My legs don't ache anymore." We both laughed, but it was true. Tofu not only delivers protein, it also provides calcium and magnesium, helping your muscles contract and relax smoothly, and preventing the nighttime cramps that keep so many older adults awake. And unlike meat or eggs, tofu contains no cholesterol, so it strengthens your muscles without straining your heart. That's why I tell my patients, if you want to build strength and protect your heart at the same time, tofu is one of the smartest foods you can eat. 8. Chickpeas. Small beans, big power. If there's one food that still surprises me with how powerful it is, it's chickpeas, also known as garbanzo beans. I once met a woman named Evelyn, 70 years old. She told me, "Doctor, every afternoon I feel wiped out. By 3 or 4 p.m., I've got no energy left to do anything." Her lunch every day was a white bread sandwich with a boiled egg. It sounded healthy, but it didn't actually fuel her body. I suggested something simple. Try swapping your sandwich for a chickpea salad. Add some greens and a drizzle of olive oil. A month later, Evelyn came back with a bright smile on her face. "Doctor, I went grocery shopping and didn't have to stop halfway to rest. Even my hands aren't trembling when I carry the bags anymore." That, right there, is the power of chickpeas. Each cup packs about 15 grams of protein, along with magnesium, zinc, and folate, nutrients that help your body repair muscle tissue, regulate movement, and improve circulation. Unlike refined carbs that spike your blood sugar and leave you drained, the carbohydrates in chickpeas are complex, meaning they release energy slowly, keeping you steady and strong throughout the day. A study published in the journal Nutrients found that older adults who regularly ate legumes such as chickpeas showed significantly greater muscle endurance and physical performance. I often tell my patients, chickpeas are the food of patience. They won't give you instant energy, but they'll make you stronger with every single day. And the best part? They're cheap, easy to cook, and gentle on digestion, even for those with sensitive stomachs. Try roasting them for a crunchy snack, or mash them into creamy hummus and spread it on toast. Simple, affordable, yet these little beans have the power to rebuild your strength and your youth from the inside out. 7. Sardines. Small fish, big strength. I still remember the skeptical look on Frank's face. He was 78 when I suggested he try eating sardines. He frowned and said, "Doctor, I can't afford fresh seafood." I smiled and told him, "Then you're in luck, Frank. The kind of fish I'm talking about costs less than $2. Sardines are a powerhouse in a tiny package. Over 20 grams of protein per serving, plus omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, calcium, and vitamin B12, a perfect combination for muscles, bones, and nerves. The omega-3s help reduce inflammation and boost muscle protein synthesis, while B12 keeps your nerves and reflexes sharp. So it was no surprise that just 3 weeks later, Frank came back and told me, "Doctor, I worked in my garden all afternoon, and my legs didn't ache. I even had enough energy to take a walk that evening." Many people avoid fish because they worry about the smell, but today's canned sardines are mild and easy to prepare. Just rinse them lightly, add a squeeze of lemon, and you've got a delicious, muscle-friendly meal. And here's the best part. They're cheaper than chicken and require no fancy cooking. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who regularly consumed fish rich in omega-3s had 10 to 20% greater muscle mass and strength compared to those who didn't. That means just 2 cans of sardines per week could help you reverse muscle loss. No gym required, just a plate and a little patience. 6. Millet. The grain that restores energy. I still remember Harold, an 81-year-old gentleman who once told me, "Doctor, every time I stand up from my chair, I have to push with both hands." I smiled and suggested something simple. Try replacing your morning white bread with a bowl of millet porridge. That's all. No supplements, no fancy recipes. 2 weeks later, Harold came back grinning from ear to ear. "Doctor, I don't need to push with my hands anymore. I can stand up on my own now." Millet may look humble, but it's packed with plant-based protein, magnesium, iron, and complex carbohydrates. A combination that stabilizes blood sugar and gives you long-lasting energy throughout the day. No more afternoon crashes. No more leg fatigue when standing too long. It's also gluten-free, making it gentle on digestion, especially for older adults whose stomachs have become more sensitive with age. A study published in the Journal of Food Science and Technology concluded that a diet including millet improved muscle recovery and reduced fatigue in adults. I often joke with my patients, millet is the quiet grain that listens to your body. It doesn't shout for attention, but it nourishes your strength from the inside out. That's only 4 of the 10 foods I want you to know about. The rest, from mussels and nori seaweed to spirulina, tiger nuts, and the tiny but powerful teff grain from Ethiopia, I'll be sharing with you in the next part of this video. Each of these foods has one thing in common. They're cheaper than eggs, better than eggs, and far more effective at helping older adults rebuild strength, balance, and independence. Before we close this part, I want to ask you something personal. How old are you? And what has been your biggest challenge lately? Standing up, climbing stairs, or simply keeping your balance? Leave me a comment below. My team and I at Over 60 Health Tips read every single one. Because your story might just inspire someone else who's 70, sitting at home right now thinking it's too late to change. Remember this, Aging doesn't take away your strength. Bad habits do. If you feed your body with patience, with real food, and with love, then whether you're 70, 80, or even 90 years old, your body can still come alive again. And that, my friend, is our mission here at Overcity Health Tips to help you reclaim your strength. One meal, one step, and one meaningful day at a time. We've now covered the first 4 foods, from cottage cheese to millet. Simple, everyday foods that quietly build the foundation of lasting strength in later life. Now, let's move on to the final 5 foods. The ones that, when you understand and use them. 5. Mussels. Strength from the sea. If there's one food that's delicious, affordable, and surprisingly powerful for your muscles, it's mussels. I like to call them the ocean's protein. Just a small serving of mussels provides over 18 grams of protein, along with omega-3s, vitamin B12, and zinc, nutrients that are essential for muscle repair and hormonal balance. I remember a patient named Clara, 79 years old. When she first came to see me, her hands trembled, and her wrists were so weak she couldn't even hold a cooking pot. When I asked about her diet, she said, "Oh, I avoid seafood, doctor. I'm afraid of allergies." But I explained to her that mussels are different. They're one of the cleanest shellfish, far less likely to cause reactions, and packed with nutrients the body desperately needs as we age. So I suggested she try a simple mussel soup once a week. A month later, she walked into my office, smiling, lifted her hands and said, "Look, doctor, I can hold my pot again without shaking." That right there is the magic of proper nutrition. What makes mussels special is a compound called taurine, an amino acid that helps protect muscle fibers from early aging and improves the communication between your nerves and muscles. In simple terms, taurine helps your brain and body work together more efficiently, so every movement feels smoother, stronger, and more precise. On top of that, mussels are rich in zinc, which supports the natural balance of testosterone and estrogen, 2 hormones vital for maintaining muscle health and energy in both men and women as they age. And perhaps the best part? Mussels are cheaper than beef, easy to cook, and one of the most environmentally sustainable sources of protein you can eat. A food that's good for you and good for the planet. 4. Nori. Dried seaweed. The hidden strength in a thin leaf. I bet many of you watching right now have never thought that dried seaweed, the same kind used to wrap sushi, could actually help build muscle. But it's true. Nori is packed with protein, iodine, magnesium, vitamin C, and a range of powerful antioxidants. What makes it truly special are bioactive peptides, tiny natural molecules proven to help muscle fibers recover and rebuild faster. I remember Robert, a 73-year-old patient of mine. He told me, "Doctor, every time I stand up, my knees feel locked." I suggested something simple. Just sprinkle a few toasted nori flakes over your soup or rice each day. He laughed. "That's it? That's your big medical secret?" 3 weeks later, he came back smiling. "Doctor, I don't need my cane when I walk anymore. I feel lighter." A study published in the journal Marine Drugs confirmed what Robert experienced. Seaweed contains natural anti-inflammatory compounds that help reduce muscle pain, improve flexibility, and restore energy. And here's something even more fascinating. Nori also supports your thyroid gland, the small organ that controls your metabolism and energy regulation. When your thyroid works properly, your body burns fuel more efficiently, helping you feel stronger and more energetic, without eating more food. So, just a few sheets of nori a day can do more for your body than an expensive supplement, and it costs about as much as a cup of tea. 3. Spirulina. The green energy for golden years. Now we're stepping into the world of superfoods. And at the very top of that list sits spirulina, a deep green algae that may just be the most concentrated natural source of protein on the planet. Just 2 small teaspoons of spirulina provide nearly 8 grams of complete protein, along with iron, B vitamins, magnesium, and powerful antioxidants like phycocyanin. I once recommended spirulina to Margaret, a 75-year-old patient of mine. At first, she wrinkled her nose at the green color and said, "Doctor, this looks like pond water." But after just a few weeks, she came back beaming. I can climb the stairs without feeling tired. My body feels lighter, stronger. The science behind spirulina is actually quite simple. It delivers highly absorbable protein, giving your body the raw materials to build new muscle fibers. It helps reduce chronic inflammation, one of the key reasons older adults struggle to recover after activity. And it improves oxygen circulation, helping your body move energy more efficiently throughout your muscles. A study published in the Journal of Medicinal Food confirmed this, stating, older adults who consume spirulina daily show better exercise endurance and less muscle fatigue than those who don't. I like to call spirulina the drink of renewal. Just one spoonful in your morning water or smoothie, and you're giving your body the same kind of fuel it once thrived on in your youth. 2. Tiger nuts, earth almonds. Strength from the earth. Don't let the name tiger fool you. Tiger nuts aren't actually nuts at all. They're small, root-like tubers that grow underground, rich in resistant starch, magnesium, potassium, and arginine, an amino acid known for widening blood vessels and improving circulation. And what does better circulation mean? It means more blood, oxygen, and nutrients are reaching your muscles. When your muscles are properly nourished, they don't weaken or tremble every time you stand up or climb the stairs. I remember a patient named Dolores, 79 years old. She loved her afternoon pastries, but they often left her feeling sluggish and cramping at night. So I suggested a simple swap. Instead of pastries, try a handful of tiger nuts each afternoon. A month later, she told me with a smile, "Doctor, I don't get leg cramps at night anymore, and my legs don't feel as heavy as before." That's the quiet magic of tiger nuts. They help balance electrolytes, reduce muscle fatigue, and even improve protein absorption, which means every meal you eat works harder to rebuild your strength. A study in the Journal of Food Science and Technology found that tiger nuts can reduce inflammation and enhance endurance in older adults. You can eat them raw, soak them until soft, or blend them into a smooth, creamy drink, often called tiger nut milk, a delicious, gentle beverage that's easy on aging digestion. I often joke with my patients, if the earth could make a gift just for older adults, it would be tiger nuts. 1. Teff grain. Small grain, big strength. And here we are, at number 1. Teff grain, a tiny ancient cereal from Ethiopia, has a strength that continues to amaze nutrition experts around the world. You may have never heard its name before, but in Ethiopia, teff has been used for thousands of years to fuel some of the strongest long-distance runners on the planet. Just 1 cup of cooked teff provides nearly 10 grams of protein, along with iron, calcium, and lysine, an amino acid essential for forming collagen, which keeps your muscles, tendons, and connective tissues strong. Without enough lysine, your body can't properly maintain muscle, even if you're eating plenty of protein. That's what makes teff so special. It nourishes your muscles, bones, and joints all at once. I remember Leonard, an 82-year-old patient who struggled to stand up from his recliner. I told him, try replacing white rice with teff porridge 3 times a week. A month later, he came back grinning. "Doctor, I can stand up without pushing off the chair. I feel 10 years younger." Teff doesn't just help you build muscle. Its high iron content boosts oxygen flow, helping you stay energized and less short of breath. It's also rich in calcium and magnesium, protecting your bones and preventing cramps. And perhaps best of all, teff is affordable, easy to cook, and naturally gluten-free, making it gentle on the digestive system for older adults. I often tell my patients during workshops, eggs can feed your muscles for a few hours, but teff can feed your strength for a lifetime. Conclusion: aging isn't weakness, it's just waiting to be nourished. So here we are. We've reached the end of our list of 10 powerful foods. From cottage cheese that rebuilds your muscles while you sleep, to teff grain that fuels your strength throughout the day, every single one of them has one thing in common. They're simple, affordable, and life-changing if you just start. I know, sometimes we think aging means slowing down, resting more, doing less. But I believe this is exactly the time to take your strength back. Because strength isn't a privilege of youth, it's the reward of persistence. You don't have to change everything at once. Just start with one small step. Add a little cottage cheese before bed, a bowl of chickpeas for lunch, or sprinkle a bit of nori on your rice. Let your body feel the difference day by day. And one morning, you'll stand up without needing to push off the chair. You'll take a walk without hesitation. And you'll feel your legs steady, your heart strong, and your spirit light again. Before this video ends, I'd like to ask you one thing. Share your age and tell me, what muscle challenge are you facing right now? Weak legs? Balance issues? Slow recovery? Type it in the comments below. My team and I at Over 60 Health Tips read every single message. Because your story might be the light that guides someone else. Someone who's watching this right now, feeling tired, thinking it's too late, but after reading your comment, they'll realize hope is still there. This is Over 60 Health Tips, where age doesn't define you. Your health, faith, and persistence do. Because strength doesn't disappear with time, it simply waits for you to call it back. So, what did we learn today? Even after 60, your body can rebuild strength, not through expensive supplements or exhausting gym sessions, but through simple, natural foods that science shows can build muscle faster than eggs. From cottage cheese that heals muscles as you rest, to teff grain that powers your days. These 10 foods are your map to strength, your path to staying steady, confident, and independent at any age. If lately you felt weaker, slower to recover, or unsteady on your feet, know this, you can change that. You can rebuild what time has taken. One meal, one choice, one day at a time. Now I want to hear from you. How old are you? And which of these 10 foods will you try first? Share your story in the comments below. I personally read and reply to everyone. Because sometimes, your words are the spark that helps someone else begin their own journey back to strength. If this video gave you inspiration or hope, please like, share, and subscribe to Over 60 Health Tips for more science-backed nutrition and wellness insights for life after 60. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss the next video in our Builds Muscle series. Together, let's prove something powerful. The best years of your life aren't behind you. They're just beginning. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Over 60 Health Tips so you won't miss our weekly nutrition advice. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Over 60 Health Tips so you won't miss our weekly nutrition advice.